Welcome to Watch Me Go Broke. Today I'm going to take you back to the 1990s. Come with me on this journey. Dale Earnhardt finally wins the Daytona 500 after many, many tries. Pierce Brosnan burst onto the scene as Bond, James Bond. Bill Clinton was elected the President of the United States, resulting in this guy inventing the internet. The TV series Coach was a huge hit. And somewhere along the line, Citizen released the Promaster NY0040. Let's awkwardly bend over a table and take a look. All right, everybody, on my wrist today is going to be the Seagull 1963. I posted a picture of this watch on Instagram and on YouTube, and some eagle-eyed viewers mentioned that mine has a lot more writing on it than the traditional Seagull 1963. I don't know what that's about, so we'll take a look. I've got it on this Benchmark Basics blue NATO strap. I really like these straps. They're not the greatest quality in the world, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it for day-to-day wear. But if you need a cheap little leather NATO to just kind of jazz up a watch every now and then, the Benchmark Basics off of Amazon are really, really great. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to pick these up. They're $14.95 a piece. You can get them from 18 millimeters all the way to 22 millimeters. And actually, the watch in question today, the Citizen Promaster NY0040, I also have it on one of those. So this is the watch for today. This is the Citizen Promaster Automatic NY0040. You've got a 42 millimeter case, a thickness of 12.5. I do measure these all in-house myself. Lug to lug of 47 millimeters. Lug width of 20 millimeters. Now, I want to clear something up in the last review I did of the Citizen Promaster Eco Drive, the solar-powered watch, which is I guess the next generation of this particular watch here. I didn't want to imply during that review that I did not like that watch. I feel like that might have come off in the review like I thought it was a bad watch. That is not the case. I really do love that particular watch. And I have a feeling the complaints I had about the EcoDrive solar system in that in that particular watch is probably operator error. I'm probably not leaving it out long enough to get charged. So yeah, it's sorry if you thought that I did not like that watch. I certainly did, and I do wear it quite frequently. But on to this very, very special watch. It's my understanding that this was Citizen's answer to the Seiko SKX. So this was released, I believe, in 1997, and the SKX 1996. So this was sort of like, you know, the countermeasure to the SKX from Seiko. Just like the SKX, this is going to be an ISO 6425 certified dive watch, and it was actually given to the Italian Navy for use in their operations. And the cool thing about what they did with that particular model is, I don't believe they changed the case or anything along those lines. They just changed the Citizen logo to the Italian Navy. And if you notice in the photo, it is listed as 500 meters of water resistance. Now, the official certification is 200 meters, but apparently this watch was capable of going as low as 500 meters underwater. So that was certainly cool that, you know, you can pretty much get an off-the-shelf watch that was given to the military, and you can get pretty much the exact same thing today. So it's an all 316L stainless steel case, high polish on the sides, polished crown, screw-down crown, and it is an 8 o'clock crown. The SKX actually has a crown at the 4 o'clock, if you're not familiar with the SKX. So I guess they were like, well, you know, if you think your watch is comfortable, well, we're going to outdo that, and we're going to put it at 8 o'clock, so there's no way it's digging into your wrist at all. So if you are looking to pick one of these bad boys up, Amazon prices are not that great on this particular watch. I would say maybe eBay is your best bet, even though prices on there can be a little sketchy sometimes, but you may be able to find one pre-owned at a pretty good deal. I was able to find the watch on Chrono24 at a relatively reasonable price. They have it in stock, but just, do your research, surf the web. They're not overly hard to find if you are really, really wanting one. It's a 60-click bezel today, an aluminum insert with a recessed luminous pip. The action is pretty dead on with no backplay at all. The action, it's not the greatest in the world, but it certainly is very solid, and it gets the job done. I would say the action on the Citizen Promaster Eco Drive is a good bit better than what you're going to find on this automatic version, but it still is really great. And I like the, I'm going to call it a gripping mechanism. That's not the proper term at all, I know, but these little indentations where you're going to grip it, they're actually very, very, very grippable, if for lack of a better term. And I kind of came up with a test, and I don't know if you really want to do this or if you want to watch to do this, but you could literally take, this is how good the grip is. Now I have a glove on. I did this without the glove earlier, so maybe it won't work, but you can actually turn this bezel with one finger if you really wanted to. That's how grippy those indentations are. Just one finger. Now, try to do that with the SKX, not happening. So, really, really good bezel. The dial is actually very highly polished, or it's glossy. So it's not sunburst, but it gives like a very nice, like a bright, glossy, just black tone. And that dial is black, black, black. There is nothing, it's not brown. It doesn't look brown in certain lights. It is black, black, black for sure. All applied indices today. There is a chapter ring, and looky there, it lines up perfectly with everything. Citizen automatic printed just below the 12 o'clock, and there's a raised triangle that is like a raised, almost like a puffy paint triangle. That's not, again, the correct term. I'm using a lot of incorrect terms today. And then you got divers water resist, and the 200M is also raised up, which looks really, really neat. And of course, the movement caliber down at the 6 o'clock position. Now, this is going to be the Miyota 8203. It does hand wind. It does not hack. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour. And just reading reviews, and opinions and comments about this watch, that there's a lot of folks out there that consider this Miyota 8203 movement better than the 7S26 from Seiko that is in the SKX, specifically in regards to the accuracy. They find this much more accurate than the 7S26, but to be honest with you, they both can be regulated, so I mean, I don't know if that argument is really valid or not. You do have a day-date complication at the 3 o'clock. It is color matched to the dial, which is really, really nice. And there is the case back. You've got the Citizen Promaster logo etched into the back. Japan movement, water resist 200M, stainless Citizen Watch Company, the movement caliber over here, the serial number just below that. So this is a high polished screw down case back. So yeah, lots of polish, but lots of opportunity to scratch the crap out of it. Now this strap obviously is not the strap that the watch comes with. Truth be told, I only have one side of the strap that came with it, which is this one. It is identical to what you would get with the Citizen Promaster Eco Drive solar-powered version. It is literally identical. It is just black and not blue. So I do have that with me, and I will throw it on at the end of the review so you can kind of see how this watch works on the strap that it comes with. But again, this is a benchmark basics strap. The more you wear these, the more beat up they get, and I think they just look totally awesome. Again, I left a description below if it's something you're looking to pick up. And again, not for everyday use. They are not, outstanding quality, but, unless you want to pay quite a bit for a leather NATO, this is probably one of your better options. Now, for the wrist size, I would say if you have below a 7-inch wrist, this is not going to do it for you. This is kind of right in the 7 1/4, maybe up to an 8-inch wrist sweet spot the way it's designed. And it is a bit stretchy. It will stretch out if you wear it too tight. So again, for a smaller wrist. So not the greatest quality in the world, but I think it just looks cool. So if you're going to throw it on something, every, once a week or something like that, I think it's pretty cool. So what do I like about this watch? Well, I mean, it's just cool. ISO certified dive watch for around the $200 price point. Really, really cool. It's a little bit cheaper than the SKX. I mean, not anymore because, they've discontinued. Well, I think they've discontinued both of these, but you can still find them. So obviously SKX prices are pretty much going through the roof right now. And so you can snag one of these for substantially less. I do like that. I love the bezel, how easy it is to grip it and turn it. And it's not loose. It's not like, you can bump it, and it's going to move. You have to use some force, but just the gripping is just amazing with this. Love it, love it. Love the recessed lume pip. And yes, I forgot to do lume, so let me do that. So here is the lume. It's okay. It's not the greatest in the world. I would say it probably lasts for, a half hour or so. Not going to get much beyond that. You can see that the indices don't have quite as much lume, and it is fading fast. This is on a charge I just did. So, you're going to lose the indices and the lume pip first, and then you're going to lose the hands. But obviously, yeah, the hands are something that you want to have, go out last. So that's good. But I'd say this lume is, not the greatest in the world, but I think it certainly probably, gets the job done. So back to what I like. The dial, that glossy black dial, I think it looks fantastic. I like the applied indices and how thin, and I don't know if this is patina. I don't think it is, but instead of white, it's more of a greenish color. And I think that gives it an interesting look. Another thing that I like is this watch is incredibly comfortable. No matter what strap you have it on, if you have it on like a leather NATO, although yes, faux pas. You have it on its rubber strap. I actually wear it on a bracelet most of the time, just a cheap bracelet that I got for it off of eBay. And it just sits down and hugs your wrist very, very nicely in the cushion case style. Definitely like that this is a military watch that has been proven in the field as being reliable enough for people to risk their lives using it, and the fact that you can get it, I think that is a coolness factor that really is off the charts, especially at this price. So what do I not like about this watch? And hopefully I won't get eaten alive in the comments about this. But I don't like the 8 o'clock crown. I think if you're left-handed and you're left-hand dominant, this is probably a great watch for you. Probably much easier to set and wind and change the date and everything if you were left-handed. I am not. What I do is I flip it upside down like this to unscrew it, and then, you wind in the forward position. And then I actually pull it out that way, and then I set the time upside down because it's just so uncomfortable for me to do it the other way. That's the way that I'd have to do this, so it's a little cumbersome to get used to, but it's certainly not anything that is a huge inconvenience. It's more of just a pet peeve. And probably the biggest thing that I'm not a particular fan of, this watch screams 1990s. And the 90s, honestly, were not the greatest time period in American history, in my opinion. And this watch, the design cues, the way the indices are done, you know, the color of the lume, which I said I liked, but it is very stylized to that time period. It just screams 1990s. So this is not a watch that I consider to be something that is particularly fashionable in today's time. Now, that's not to say I don't like it. I love this watch, but you know, it's not something that I would consider you know, you to be able to wear with you know, a suit, or you know, I wouldn't say that it's as versatile, say, as the SKX of the same time period. The SKX is pretty timeless. You know, you wouldn't be able to tell which era that particular watch was made in. You definitely would with this. It just screams 90s. And I guess the last thing is the day-date complication. It's kind of hard to read. It's small. So at a quick glance, you really got to stare at it. And my eyes are getting worse and worse, you know, the older I get. So, you know, it's a little bit difficult to read the date. It doesn't jump out at you like it does in some other watches, but that's just the way it was for the time period. So there it is on my 7¼ inch wrist on this Benchmark Basics leather NATO. Like I said, even with the NATO on it, still hugs the wrist pretty good. I think it looks really, really cool on this, but let me put it on the strap you guys want to see. And there it is on the strap that comes on the Eco Drive version. It is identical, I can promise you that. It's just in black instead of blue, but I think this blue actually looks pretty cool even with this black version. But, you know, it's okay. It's not the greatest strap in the world. It is certainly better than the strap on the SKX, without a doubt. I don't know. So, you know, yeah, guys, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments about this particular watch. I think you're probably either on the side of this is your favorite watch or the SKX is your favorite watch. It seems to be pretty divisive on which one of those is the better watch. And I will put this watch head-to-head with the SKX. I just want to make sure I review the SKX on the channel before I do that head-to-head, and then we will find out who is the definitive winner, in my opinion. And I promise, guys, this time, no ties. I'll see you next time.